We have here with us distinguished speakers and panelists who will use all their experience and knowledge to provide all the information that an investor might need. I would like to thank all our speakers, most of them coming here all the way from Cyprus, especially for this event, our sponsors, supporters and well-wishers, and all of you who came here today to learn more about Cyprus economy and development, and also to make new business connections. Thank you very much. I would like now to invite our welcome speaker, the High Commissioner, Mr. Evripiadis, to the podium.
Thank you, Savas. Kalimera σας. And I'm not the main menu. I'm very cognizant of the fact that you will be hearing a lot of speeches today. And I was told a long time ago that you can never go wrong with a short speech, because a short speech moves the hearts and a long speech moves the chairs. But I will keep my remarks very, very short, under 57 minutes. Undoubtedly, events like these serve as an excellent occasion to reassess the economic climate and explore ways of cooperation by identifying the latest trends and business development in Cyprus. Following the British people's mandate for Brexit, I believe we can all agree that Brexit is chartering in uncharted territory, is navigation in uncharted territory. It is an unknown territory. We do not really know what the final deal will look like. At the same time, it is Brexit, as it has been said, is Brexit. Breakfast is breakfast, lunch is lunch, dinner is dinner. But Brexit is a reality. So one has to look at the new environment that is being developed between the United Kingdom and of course, Cyprus. We have had long-lasting commercial ties for decades. The dual capacity of Cyprus as an EU and at the same time Commonwealth member state is more important now than ever, and can certainly play a great part in strengthening and expanding our existing close cooperation in order to protect the interests, to protect and promote the interests of both countries. I am confident that our distinguished speakers today will reaffirm Cyprus as a reliable partner, predictable partner, especially after the island's success to emerge stronger than ever from an unprecedented crisis, and much faster than anyone could predict a few years ago. Indeed, in less than 5 years, the Cyprus economy achieved full recovery and a growth of almost 4%, one of the highest in the EU. And this success belongs to the people as a whole, because the people, our people, is the greatest wealth and resources that we have, It is the people themselves, their resiliency, their entrepreneurship, and of course, yes, correct government policy in order to future-proof the country in a post-Brexit environment, and the changing landscape, because nothing remains the same. It is, of course, needless to say that the Cyprus High Commission in London, in which I have the honor to represent here, and the entire team, Kostas Dafos, who is the commercial counselor, who does a lot of heavy lifting, and indeed the entire team is at your disposal to answer any of your questions or to follow up on things that we do not know. You will have to excuse me, because I will not be able to stay here for the entire period. London is a very, very rewarding post, but at the same very, very challenging. I often feel like Alice in Wonderland, that I cannot run fast enough even to stay in the same place. And one has to learn multitasking and have a multi-dimensional and policy and actions in order to visibly raise the flag of Cyprus. Because as I say, if we do not do it, nobody else is going to do it for us. I wish to thank the Business Direction Events UK, and naturally a very warm welcome to the Commissioner, to the Presidential Commissioner, Mr. Fodiou, under whose auspices this event is taking place. And of course, he has taken time from his very, very hectic schedule to be here with you tonight. And finally, of course, to thank each and every one of you for coming here and spending time. As they say, contacts lead to contracts. I mean, that's what the whole thing is all about. I mean, networking and making the correct connections in order to move forward in a mutually advantageous time. I think my 57 minutes are up, and I want to thank you, I'm supposed to be politically correct. I'm advised that we're not supposed to say, Christmas is coming, and we're not supposed to say Merry Christmas. We have to be politically correct and say Happy Holidays. So I want to be politically correct and say to each and every one of you, Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Minister Avrididis. I would like now to welcome Mr. Fotis Fodiou and to ask him to come here for the main speech. Thank you very much.
Of course, mine is not the main speech. Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends from Cyprus, of course, it is a privilege and great pleasure to be here with you today and address this business forum in London entitled Cyprus as a Center of Financial and Legal Services, Ship Management and Property Investment. Taking this opportunity, I wish to express my sincere thanks and appreciation to the Business Direction Events UK Limited and to all of its members for the continued support and commitment shown to Cyprus. This high-end international forum is a great initiative which brings together aspiring experts, especially from UK and Cyprus. This diversity of perspectives and wealth of opinions guarantees, of course, an interesting forum that will provide the opportunity for all of you to present your services while offering you a distinct business networking experience. Ladies and gentlemen, regardless of the internationally unfavorable financial situation and the budgetary challenges that our country has faced in the last years, Cyprus has managed to maintain its competitiveness and its positive perspectives for future development. Despite the fact that progress has been obvious in almost all areas, particularly those of industry, shipping, services, tourism, problems still exist, such as the high unemployment, although in the last few months it is constantly decreasing. Let me take this opportunity before I go on to thank, on behalf of the government, our diaspora people, our overseas, especially our business people from diaspora. They are doing a very good job. And let me tell you that the organized diaspora has proved in the past how powerful and influential they can be. Our expatriates, due to their particular relationship with Cyprus, can evolve into important investors on the island, but also act as multipliers in the foreign countries that they live. I embrace this opportunity and appeal to all of our overseas Cypriots and successful expatriate Cypriot business people in UK that are here today and ask you to take concrete actions for joint efforts and meetings so as to multiply the visibility of Cyprus in the UK and to promote our country as an investment center in the region which must create promises for the future your energy, means, and vision could become powerful tools for Cyprus. Dear friends, Cyprus has yet to reach its full potential in terms of economic growth. However, we are in the right track since our economy has achieved a strong and sustainable recovery, currently with a GDP growth rate of around 3.5%. Our country's comparative advantages have been further enhanced to include a significant network of agreements for avoidance of double taxation with more than 60 countries, highly educated, qualified human talent, broad range and international quality of professional services, legal, tax, accounting, banking, of course, and a fully EU harmonized tax and legal system. Cyprus continues to be a highly competitive center for international business. We are now focusing on attracting investors in the productive sectors of our economy. This is the government's most important priority, following the restoration of the state's and the financial system's credibility. In this light, we are promoting a series of specific incentives aiming to further facilitate investment and establishing a business-friendly environment. Structural changes and significant reductions of public expenditure have been instrumental in deeming Cyprus even more competitive and efficient. Recently, on 8th of November, the Council of Ministers approved a new legal bill which is expected to facilitate the licensing of large investments that considerably reduces the action required to approve a town planning permit and building permit. This bill will boost and increase growth in our country, we believe. The widely known as one-stop shop will simplify procedures for the faster issuing of permits and licensing of investment projects and operation of businesses. At the same time, we are implementing the immigration permit program for applicants who are third country nationals and invest in Cyprus. This program focuses on the speedier granting of residence permits to foreign investors and business people on the basis of specific economic criteria. Moreover, there is an ongoing process to modernize and reform the current tax and legal framework as part of our concerted drive to create a friendlier business environment. I am pleased to say that our effort has been delivering results. Foreign direct investment has witnessed a 9.1% rise in 2016 compared to the previous year, which was the second largest increase in European Union level. Cyprus has already proved to be a reliable partner for businesses and investors who are interested in using Cyprus as a basis for their activities in Europe, Russia, the Middle East, and of course Asia. The successive upgrades of Cyprus' economy by international rating agencies demonstrates in the best possible way that we are on the right path towards full re-establishment of confidence towards Cyprus in the international investor community. Most importantly, the majority of economic sectors offer opportunities for growth. The professional services sector, the tourism sector, the real estate sector, the shipping industry, the education sector, and of course, natural gas that has brought a significant presence of global energy groups from Europe and the United States, adding new dimension to the prospects of our economy. But I'm sure you will also agree with me that there is still more which needs to be done. And it is my strong belief that it is through the joint efforts of government and private sector that we shall succeed in making Cyprus a world-class destination for business and investment. You have helped to put Cyprus on the map as a credible and fast expanding destination. Therefore, I would like to extend my deepest appreciation to each and every one of you, the investors, for the vital role you play, your ongoing trust, your positive contribution, and your strong support. We are prepared to offer you any assistance necessary that will assist and encourage your business plans and investment activities. Dear friends, Cyprus has no hidden agendas in the region. We are a transparent and responsible stakeholder which aims at working with all its partners for the benefit of the region, of its societies, and of its economies. I think that this fair and balanced approach of Cyprus is also welcomed by our neighbors who understand our approach that relations with one country are not to the detriment of another country. Distinguished guests, in relation to the Cyprus problem, I would like to say that the President of the Republic, Mr. Nikos Anastasiadis, is committed to do his utmost in order to see not just progress, but also that through constructive dialogue, we can reach a functional, viable solution which will give the opportunity to both Greek Cypriots and Turkish Cypriots to live peacefully together, to create together, and to be able to provide a real future to the younger generations. The solution to the Cyprus problem also needs to respect the fundamental human rights and freedoms. It has to safeguard and further amplify Cyprus' regional role that is also valuable to our partners. President Anastasiadis' vision is a reunited Cyprus that will serve as a symbol of peace, coexistence, cultural and religious diversity in the region. Of course, Turkey's contribution in this regard is the ultimate key to success. Ladies and gentlemen, in these crucial and concerning times in relation to the development of the Cyprus issue, it is essential that we keep all the channels of communication and collaboration open between our two countries, and I'm speaking about Cyprus and UK, especially this period. It is for this reason that we would like to say a special thank you for your presence here. Our overseas Cypriots should continue to preserve and strengthen the special relationship between the UK and Cyprus, including the collaboration within the Commonwealth family, the historic partnership in achieving common goals such as peace and stability in the Eastern Mediterranean. We look to the international community to continue to support the Republic of Cyprus' independence, sovereignty, and territorial integrity. Together, with common vision, coordination, hard work, and the support of our successful diaspora business people, we can achieve more for our people, and especially for the generations to come. Dear friends, please accept once more my sincere gratitude and thanks for being here today and for your dedication and support in building strong bonds with Cyprus. I know we can count on you, on your support in this collective effort, and I can assure you that you can count on Cyprus. I am very sure that during the presentations and panel discussions to follow, with the successful, recognized, and established professionals and business people in their respective specialties, you will have the opportunity to explore the comparative advantages of our economy, to be informed of the prospects of new sectors where Cyprus is set to play an important role. Thank you all for your attention, and once again, many, many thanks to our diaspora people, and congratulations to the organizers. I wish every success to your conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Fodiou. Our next speaker is the Managing Director of CIPA, Mrs. Natasha Pilidis.
Good morning, dear guests. Thank you for being here today. It's wonderful to be here with you. If only to reaffirm and appreciate how lovely our weather is compared to that of most countries, but most importantly because of the opportunity to talk to you about what we've been doing in Cyprus, what we plan to be doing in the next few years, what our strategy is about, and how perhaps we can discuss the synergies that can occur between us and you. So I'll try to keep it very short. I don't want to move any chairs, as the High Commissioner said. Also, I'm very conscious that there will be panels discussing some of the issues that I want to raise. So on some of the slides, I will definitely say the minimum possible so as not to burden you. So just a little bit on the Cyprus Investment Promotion Agency. We are a non-profit organisation which is funded by the government, with an independent board of directors who are very, very supportive and a very useful link into the private world. So we believe that what makes us effective is the fact that we can link the private and the public sector and really work together in order to improve the business environment. So over here you can see our mandate. It's the three pillars of our mandate we are here to promote. But we also do a lot of facilitation. That means a lot of aftercare as well. So we're very, very keen to help investors, not just at the investment stage, but throughout. And for that reason, we have made a lot of effort to strengthen our relationships with investors who live and work in Cyprus or who have businesses in Cyprus, and to make sure that they're happy and that anything that they see as an improvement point is addressed. So that's why we feel it's very important that we advocate reform as part of our role, and I'll talk a little bit about some of the things that we've done recently and some of the things that we plan to do in later slides. So Mr. Fodiou mentioned a lot of this already. The only thing I'll mention is that we've had an announcement of our Q3 growth, which is 3.9%, which is pretty impressive, and an improvement on the previous quarter, which was 3.5%, and the quarter before that, which was 3.3%. So it looks like we are on a path of sustainable growth now, and we feel a lot more confident about how sustainable actually this growth is, and how we can make sure that it can actually remain at the levels that we want it to remain at. Another important point, we returned to the capital markets back in June, and we had a bond that was 4 times oversubscribed, achieving the lowest rates at FSA. That was also an important achievement recently. Now, in terms of goods and services, there's been an increase both in the exports of goods and in the exports of services, which of course is very positive. Just to give you an idea of how the UK features, our exports mostly go out to the EU, so 51.4 goes to the EU, and out of that, 22.5 goes to the UK. So that's a huge number, and we're really, really hoping that we will be able to maintain and build on that in future years regardless or despite what is happening with Brexit. Latest performance in tourism, just to point out another sector that's growing very dynamically. We had 3.2 million tourists in 2016, which was a record. But this year we're going to break that record by having more than 3.5 million tourists. But the important thing to note is that there's also an increase in revenues, which is sort of alongside the increase in arrivals, which is very important and consistent with the government's strategy on basically improving the tourism product, but also on increasing the number of rooms that we have on offer. So they've increased by 10,000 in recent years, which is pretty good, but we have 5,000 more rooms in the pipeline with projects that are going on at the moment. Also, a lot of work has been done to lengthen the tourist season, and it has been quite successful. If you go to Cyprus now, you see a lot of tourists around, coming back on the plane. I could see people of all ages coming back in their hats and things, which is very positive because 3 years ago, 4 years ago, you really wouldn't have had that situation this time of year. So what are the competitive advantages that we try to protect and enhance? We've had a lot of these advantages for a long time. However, as everyone, it's a competitive world, all countries are moving in a very short direction, and so we have to keep up and make sure that these things continue to apply. We do think it's a unique combination because we combine if I may say so myself, the best of both worlds in terms of the quality that we offer, but also the value for money and the operational advantages. Just a few details on what these things mean. Access to markets is pretty obvious in terms of the European Union. But it's also worth knowing that we have more than 60 double tax treaties. The government works very hard to increase that number and also to ensure that the ones that are in place remain competitive. And we're also pretty competitive at the moment because of our strategic position, because of the instability, unfortunately, in the surrounding region. So because Cyprus is in the Eastern Mediterranean and is one of the most safe countries in the world, we're 5th safest in the world, 1st safest for young people according to The Guardian, that plays a role because people can actually have their base in Cyprus and access not just the EU market, but basically the whole region around them. And we have examples of companies operating, for example, in the energy sector, which are servicing the area around from their base in Cyprus, and in many other sectors as well. Distance from major markets, so we are a good place to be in terms of accessibility to major markets around in the region and generally, but we've done a lot to improve on our connectivity in recent years. So to give you an idea, 7 million passengers just a couple of years ago. We've gone up to 10.2 million passengers coming and going from Cyprus every year. We've got 32 additional airlines flying to Cyprus since 2015, and the air travel cost has dropped by 38.6%, which is great for us, but also great for people coming to Cyprus from other destinations. In terms of the tax and regulatory structure, I won't go into it in detail because I know there's a panel coming up that will be dedicated to the subject. However, I'll just point out that because we have an English common law system, we have a lot of synergies and a lot of understanding of how things work in the UK, and that's why traditionally we've been able to do business with the UK in an efficient way. But we're also doing a lot to improve on the regulatory framework that we have. For example, new legislation on investment funds was introduced a few years ago. There's more coming up in the pipeline to strengthen that framework. We've introduced a filming incentives program to encourage film producers to come and film in Cyprus. We're introducing cell company law very soon, we hope, plus a lot of other reforms in terms of the registrar of companies, e-government, etc. In terms of tax, again, not going to go into detail. I'm just going to mention that Cyprus works on the basis of a company, but it also works on the basis of the individual. So whether the individual is an investor or whether they are a person who works for a company, an employee, the advantages are very significant. And that's why a lot of companies actually can relocate people very easily to Cyprus because of the quality of life combined with the benefits that we offer to individuals as well, who become resident in Cyprus. Like cost of doing business, compared to most other EU jurisdictions, we are a pretty good place to do business. We're not the cheapest, but our quality is very, very high. And so I think the value for money element works out very well. So lower costs for technical and professional talents. We've got an average hourly rate of 15.8 euros in Cyprus, which is half of that in the UK almost. So a lot cheaper. And the non-wage employment costs are also a lot lower than the EU average. It's also pretty cheap to rent an office in Cyprus. It's, as I said, not the cheapest. It's probably towards the mid-range compared to the two other EU jurisdictions, a bit cheaper than the average. Business-friendly environment. Any of you who've worked in Cyprus before will know that we have a very highly developed system of professional services, and some of them will be here talking today. 700 registered accounting firms, 160 law firms, but we're also trying to enrich that with other services and in other areas, particularly in the technical field. So I'll talk about that a little bit later on. So access to talent. Now, we've had a lot of companies approaching us at Invest Cyprus saying, we want to set up in Cyprus. And we've also had a lot of the existing companies in Cyprus saying, we want to grow. Because we like it, because the people that work for us are super, super good. And that's great to hear. We want to foster that and we want to make that, enhance that as much as possible. 55% of the workforce in Cyprus has a tertiary degree. We've got 8 universities in Cyprus and they're growing very fast. The numbers of students coming from abroad as well have sort of doubled in recent years, which is excellent considering the stringent quality checks as well that the universities are doing and that the government is doing. Now, in terms of obviously visa-free access to European talent, that's an obvious point, but global talent also has access. We have, for example, a startup visa scheme for people who are interested to come in from non-EU countries and set up their startup in Cyprus. Access to funding. I won't dwell on this too much, I'll just say that we have been very successful as a country in gaining EU funds. For example, from the EU programme Horizon 2020, where we've got we've been the most successful European country so far by attracting more than 100 million. We are building a couple of new research centres using those funds, which are going to be very state-of-the-art and integrated into the town's master plans to ensure that the community and that the academic world are integrated with what's going on in the research world and with the private world, private companies as well. We do have a lot of other funding programs which are either EU funded or Cyprus funded, for example for women's entrepreneurship or for SMEs as well. So that's definitely something interesting, particularly for smaller companies and startups that come to operate in Cyprus. Now, lastly, quality of life, which I've mentioned the climate already, but there's a rich history and culture in Cyprus. We bring lots of different cultures together, and that's the big advantage, that there's a lot to do in a safe environment, which is good for retirement, but it also is very good for younger people. We have one company, one investor now who's brought in about 100 people on a secondment scheme where they come in to enjoy sort of the quality of life in Cyprus for 6 months, and then they go back to wherever they live in Europe as a reward for, and motivation program. So I mentioned already that we have a lot of international companies in Cyprus. We are really focusing on enriching that. And we've had a few new companies coming to Cyprus in very recent months, and we hope to maintain that. But the important thing to us is that these companies are happy and they're wanting to grow. Now, just one point there. Exports of services in terms of technology have increased by 34% in 2016, and that's important in terms of what we're producing in terms of know-how. So, as I said earlier, 8 universities which contribute directly 5% of the GDP, which is pretty high, around 10,000 jobs, which is 2.5% of our labour force. We're a very small country, so these numbers seem perhaps low, but for us they're quite high. Now we've got a lot of incubators and accelerators in Cyprus for a range of different topics, from technology to green energy, and very good quality research. Now the next challenge for us is to make sure that that research is actually transformed into commercial projects, and so we have a spin-offs legislation in the pipeline, which we hope will pass soon. So this is my last slide, just to give you a little bit of an overview of what the priority sectors are for us. Of course, as Invest Cyprus, our sectors of priority are aligned with the strategy of the government. As I said earlier, a lot of the panels will be covering some of these things: investment funds, banking, shipping, tourism, and startups. I've talked about it a little bit already. Health is something that we believe has a lot of potential. We're working on a few specific projects with specific investors to promote medical tourism, but also the actual scope of medical services offered in Cyprus in terms of not just rehab centres, but also very high-tech medical centres as well. And real estate will also be covered, I believe, later on. Energy, you may have seen in the news, of course, a lot of hype about Cyprus as a potential oil and gas centre in the future. But in addition to that, we believe we have a lot of potential in terms of RES, in terms of renewable energy, and we are working on that to increase the projects going on in Cyprus, and I believe the government will be announcing very soon some new opportunities in that regard. So that's it from me. Thank you very much for your attention.